Fun with failure.
Welcome to the Neckbeard Experience. This is your host, Dallas. I have found 2 stories of some nauseating neck dusters that I hope you enjoy. So now we will delve into the tales of Art Beard and Big Brother Beard. Without further ado, here we go. In my early 20s, I was fortunate to work at the front desk of this lovely boutique hotel and restaurant, which also hosted its fair share of weddings. I'm not a huge wedding person, but for better or for worse, wedding nights are always entertaining. On this particular Saturday night, years ago, I encountered this neckbeard, gentleman extraordinaire and true art connoisseur. We'll call him Arty. The front desk was not really involved with the weddings. We give directions to the guest over the phone, point them to the bathroom, or answer random questions about the hotel. On rare occasions, we may even open up the dining room doors for the bride and groom's entrance into the reception. We're usually busy checking in hotel guests and tend to their needs. This is why I was completely unprepared to play entertainer to the most neck-beardy gentle sir to ever walk through the front doors. After the ceremony, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed him standing in the entrance between the dining room and the front desk. How could I not notice him? His build was tall, and he was bordering on obese. He was facing me, just a mere 7 feet away. His dark, greasy hair pulled back in a ponytail. A fedora adorned his head. His beard was patchy, his mustache wispy. Over his ill-fitted suit, he wore a legitimate duster coat to a summer wedding. In triple digits sweltering heat, he wore a freaking duster coat. I checked my first couple of the night into their room.
Greetings.
He took a long pause to stare at my name tag.
My lady, may I inquire as to the history of this fine establishment? It's obviously rather old.
It wasn't. Had you seen it, you may have been surprised that it was barely over a decade old. I politely informed him as such. It was a common question.
Well, that can't be completely true, my lady. You see, I'm well versed in all forms of art and in classic architecture. The building may be new, but clearly the wood, the mantel, the doors used to build it are old. I see these things for I am an artist. I'm Arty, by the way.
He smirks. He's still wrong, but I do tell him that some of the furniture is antique. His smirk moves to a lopsided grin.
See, I am an artist, and as an artist, I see things the average person does not.
A couple comes in, toting luggage behind them. Thank God. I tell him that it was nice speaking to him, and I turn to help the couple at the front. He doesn't leave.
Excuse me, my lady.
I'll be right with you, sir.
Arty.
Arty, I'll be right with you in a moment. He huffs, and he shuffles back and forth between the same 3 feet. All too soon, the couple leaves to their room, and there is Arty. He smiles. How may I help you, Arty?
Where's your bar? I was wondering if you would guide me.
Sure thing. Just make a quarter turn to your left, straight through the dining room and through the double doors. It'll be immediately on your left. The phone rings. I answer. He huffs. Between phone calls, he finally stutters out that he would like me to take him there. Cause according to him, he's never been here before, and he could get lost. I place a call on hold, and I call for a server to escort him. He stalks away, clearly upset. He returns carrying a red wine. He tells me that he enjoys fine red, while staring at my hair.
Especially one with a nice body and good legs.
His eyes followed along with his words. I've never cringed so hard. I smile politely, but say nothing. He prattles on about his intelligence. He's a certified genius, you know. His taste in literature. He'll help educate me on true literature, befitting for an intelligent and beautiful lady such as myself. And his love of art. All the while he was huffing to himself whenever I dared to leave to do my job. I finally managed to check all my hotel guests. It's just about 15 minutes before my shift ends. He's been talking about art for hours. I somehow make the grave error of looking down at my paperwork instead of him during his impassioned speech. He grabs my arm. I freeze. He drags me through the hall. He doesn't ask me a single question about myself, like, "My lady, are you single? My lady, would you like to grab a coffee sometimes? My lady, Would you like it if I let you work instead of talking to you and making your guest uncomfortable? My lady, do you like being touched by strangers? No, no, yes, and heck no. I come to my senses and I yank my arm away. He puts his hands on my shoulders and he turns me to face a painting in the middle of the hallway.
You see, my lady, most people only see a painting. I see so much more.
He points a stubby finger at the painting.
I see all the brush strokes. See here? Can you tell from the brush strokes that this artist was clearly inspired by the great classics of Renaissance period?
The front desk bell rings. I try to leave. It's harder and harder to stay polite and professional. Yes, Arty, I do see brushstrokes. I think that's what people see when they look at paintings. I have to go to the front now.
Yeah, but I see more.
He goes into a long-winded speech about his vast knowledge of classical art and superior taste in paintings. The front desk bell rings again. Yes, of course, someone is at the front desk for me. I make my exit, and there's the sound of huffing behind me. I disappear into the back. The night clerk, my hero, has come to relieve me of my shift, and is already helping guests at the front. I disappear into the back room, leaving Arty with his full-bodied red and a print canvas of classic painting. I read the news story just now of how the 29-year-old dude punched a kid for playing with his Pokemon cards, and it reminded me of a strikingly similar tale. Half of my family lives on the other side of the country, so I don't know them so well. This is the first time I've spent Christmas with them and seeing them in a holiday setting. It's super freezing out, and because I'm from California, I didn't pack anything warmer than a sweatshirt to a New England winter. Rather than go out and hang out with the adults who are getting plastered around the bonfire outside, I'm stuck indoors because of my poor packing choices. Inside, there's a few moms, but mostly kids playing with their Christmas gifts. I plant my butt on the couch in the living room. I'm drawing pictures for the younger kids, and I'm watching the older kids play video games. I'm not the only adult awkwardly hanging out there. There's a fat dude, probably a bit older than college age. And he's a good 400 pounds. He has to do the butt roll to get off the couch. He's dressed in dickie shorts, a jacket, and he's wearing a plastic novelty top hat. He's directing this one kid who is playing an RPG game. I'm not sure which one. It looks like anime, but the artwork is beautiful. The kid is like around 7 years old, and he's just playing along with the neckbeard shouting at him to do certain things. When the kid is assigning points to his character, the neckbeard is loudly shouting, "Pick that one!" And if the kid refuses, he'll scream, "What the crap are you doing?" Then the neckbeard's mom would shout, "Language!" from the other room. Lather, rinse, repeat. After a while, one of the mom walks out and suggests that they play a game that multiple people can play. The kid who's playing the game gets out a shooter and 4 Xbox controllers. I don't know shooters so well, so I don't know what it was. The neckbeard grabs one before any other kid can. There's like 8 other kids waiting for a turn. I honestly can't tell which screen is which, or how, or if anyone is winning. All I know was that the kids had a fair rotation of controllers going on, while the neckbeard complained and even flat out refused to surrender his controller. The next game that came up was Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. The neckbeard actually shouts with joy at this. He picks Link. Then he actually yells at them, "Don't pick Link, Link is mine!" He's like 26 to 30 years old, so of course he beats a bunch of 6 to 9 year olds. That 7-year-old from earlier, after getting beat for the 3rd time, this is like 20 rounds in. And the neckbeard never gave up his controller once, because as he said, "The winner gets to keep on going." This time, the kid picks Link first, which made the neckbeard's Link an alternate color palette. The neckbeard shouts, "I said no one to pick frickin' Link, he's my character." His mom shouts at him for his language again. The match starts, and the kids are so frustrated with the neckbeard that they all gang up on him. He loses horribly, and the next kid in line is standing, holding a smug handout for the neckbeard's controller. The neckbeard punches the 7-year-old in the stomach for picking his character. Of course, the 7-year-old is winded, and he starts crying. And the neckbeard realizes that he's going to get in trouble if anyone tells on him. So he starts trying to pacify the kid, and he's acting like a cool older guy again by giving everyone helpful tips, and he waits a couple of rounds before demanding a controller again. Then he goes back to his old way of controller hogging a half an hour later. From that point on, everyone who ends up playing with him picks Link. The Neckbeard never got the color palette that he wanted, and he didn't dare complain about it. If they had the guts to pick his character out of revenge, they must have no problem running off to the parents and complaining about how he punched this little kid in the stomach. Later at Christmas dinner, I got asked a lot of questions. Mostly because California, but also because I never really visit the East Coast, so I'm a bit of a novelty. The mom talks about how charitable it is of me and the Neckbeard to hang out with the kids. I snort, and I mention that how boring I am. It's about as charitable as a punch to the gut. The Neckbeard goes wide-eyed, and he glares at me as though he could do a power walk at me. The kids start laughing, and they tell their parents how the Neckbeard punched a 7-year-old in the stomach. Well, the Neckbeard and the mother, they leave early. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any tales you'd like to share, please send it to my email listed in the description below. Also wanted to tell you guys that I've got a new series coming up. It's called Fun with Facepalm. It talks about average people and their experience with people who would make you want to facepalm so hard that it would probably leave permanent marks on your forehead. That should be up this week, so I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, remember, don't feed the Neckbeard. It can be dangerous, if not annoying.